You're watching the Go Around Prepar3d version 4.
63, climb maintain 13,000. 13,000, 63. 463, contact the New York Center, 128.3.
28, just with 63, good day. Hello, Captain.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Welcoming our hosts from the top today. We've got Mr. Keven, aka LiveSparks.
Hello.
We've got Mr. Brian, aka BCrawley57.
Hello, everyone.
And Mr. Mark, aka Sparksmudge. What's up, Sparky?
Hello.
Hello, Jellybean. No, Jellyhead. No.
Jelly spoon.
Jelly spoon.
Hello, Jelly Spoon. All right, so the day has come. Well, the day has not come, but we at least now know when to look forward to, right? Let's diving in. It's May 30th. May 30th release date for Prepar3d version 4. Finally, a sigh of relief on that day from the restraints of a 32-bit application. We do want to welcome everyone aboard today. For those of you that have been tracking the announcement closely, I can't imagine you missed it, to be honest. Just a heads up that we do have everything we're recapping today and more in our Ultimate P3D V4 add-on update compatibility list. So go and check that list out for every add-on you can imagine to be listed as either already working or to be determined or planned to be updated. So you're going to want to hit up this list if you haven't already. Gentlemen, announced Lockheed Martin V4 May 30th. I think we've all seen some live streams and some amount of coverage. What are the thoughts? We're going to skip over you, Keven, to start with. But what are the thoughts, down below, Mr. Brian? What are you thinking so far from what you saw?
Yeah, I'm liking what I see. Obviously, we have been compressed into this 4 gig sort of bubble of available memory, and it has caused us a lot of despair. And it was weird watching the flights the other day and people actually doing things that we aren't currently able to do.
That we wouldn't dare do.
Yeah, and the psychology behind thinking that you're not flying into a brick wall, a technical brick wall, and the freedom for us now to finally load up our big aircraft and fly between 2 big airports is absolutely delightful, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it.
So, first flight, what are you going to do? First flight, like you just launched it.
Something like Heathrow to Frankfurt in my 737.
Heathrow, yeah. Definitely Heathrow,
Absolutely.
definitely Heathrow. Mark, what you got? What are you thinking, man?
Oh man, do you know? I'm absolutely stoked, man. I've been waiting over a decade for this barrier to be lifted, and I'm that close away from having it now. And it's you get X-Plane, and it's 64-bit, and it's great. I love X-Plane. Don't get me wrong. But I've been an FSX man all my life. I grew up with 95 and the best you can get and as real as it can get, and it's just, and now finally I can actually say this will be as real as it gets.
Absolutely. So, well, first of all, I'm sure your hair is happy.
My hair is very happy
because we've had some painful situations with being in the picture, and Mr. B has always found some way to make light of our vast usage. Always checking in. Sometimes I honestly thought that Mr. B would wake up from sleep and just say, "Oh, Edson's streaming. Hey, how's your VAS?" You know, it's just like it was like that for so long. Mark, first flight, what's it going to be?
First flight, I think I'm going to fly out of New York over Javetsky designed New York City onto Orbex. I think it's Orbex, Washington DC, and then on to
That's Dravitsky also.
KMEM.
Dude, I got it.
God, man, I can't think of the company's name.
The Tour. The Tour.
No reload required.
The Tour. We're gonna do it. Heavies, no reloading your sim. The Tour. Coast to coast. Bro, we're gonna start across the pond. Even we're gonna start at Heathrow.
Go Memphis. I'm gonna go to Denver. I'm gonna go everywhere, man.
That's it, bro.
Into San Francisco.
KSFO is a must.
So
it's a close second to Heathrow for me. Get into KSFO, fly out of there over to Denver or somewhere. You know, really.
Yeah, I can't tell you how painful it is to live in such a beautiful region and not to be able to fly here in sim. Like, it's so frustrating. Like, it's so frustrating. We've got gorgeous sunsets. We've got beautiful weather systems. We've got great fog that rolls in and rolls out, and coastlines galore. And we can't fly out of here or in here. It's just like, if it's a really nice VFR plane and you have, you know, Orbex, OpenLC North America, Orbex Northern California, plus you've got Orbex San Carlos, you've got Cielo Sim Palo Alto, you've got San Jose, you've got Flight Beam's KSFO HD. There's way too much in this triangle of a bay, and you cannot fly here. Most definitely, that's my first flight. I am so looking forward to V4 to finally be able to enjoy my region the way that I see all the planes flying over me enjoying. I mean, I drive to work across a bridge that is short final for SFO. And, you know, they come in a parallel approach, gear down at the bridge, and I get to enjoy that every day in real life, and it just always sucked that I can't truly enjoy it in sim. Now, granted, I can do it turning my sliders all the way down and no AI, but then I never get to enjoy doing it in parallel with someone, right? Like two planes coming down.
And the thing with that is, I mean, what we've had to do in the past is we buy all this beautiful Orbix scenery and the beautiful add-ons, but to use the area, we'll have to switch them off. You know.
Yeah.
How painful was that? You know.
That's it, exactly. So very, very, very exciting news. Just some of the things that were announced. I mean, they've got the dynamic lighting, rain and snow particles, global 3D trees, software FDK. That one's more in Kevin's ballpark. New default vehicles, and countless other improvements. Before going into this next section, I do want to swing back to Keven as well. First flight, my man. What you have to tell us what it was, because you already have it.
Yeah. It's, you know, when you get a new sim, you want to test out the performance of it. So first thing I did. We flew some time ago with Cub Club in New Zealand. It was beautiful. A lot of trees. It was filled in. It was absolutely magnificent. So first reflex was to go there and install the real Air Duke, because I knew it had very, very limited DLL things, so it should really work out of the box, and it does. So I installed the real Air Duke. I installed Orbex New Zealand. And I went there and I flew. Performance was good. Turned the sliders all the way up to 11, and the performance was still good. So I closed the sim, go into CFG, LOD like 19.5 instead of 6.5, and loaded the sim. You know, 7.8 X frames per second, but I don't care. It looks amazing.
Right.
And not to stop it there, I turned on DSR on the NVIDIA control panel and just extrapolated everything to 6.8K and took screenshots. And it's the most amazing view I've seen in the sim ever.
Wow.
Ever. And so yeah, that's the first thing I did in the sim. Legit.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Some of the other little unlisted things that have been kind of collected from watching all of the streamers that have been able to go live due to the NDA lift. Snow has the appearance of falling even if you're playing it standing still, so you've now got kind of a dynamic wind direction based snowfall, which is really, really cool. Bellin's Matt Davies was kind of showcasing that. I think he stalled out unknowingly, kind of stalled out his plane, ended up on the ground, and then all of a sudden the snow still keeps coming at an angle, and his mind was a little blown, as were all the viewers as well. I mean, to be quite frank, it was amazing.
There are a few issues with it though.
Can I ask a question on that? Because I do believe the rain and snow is now particle based. Yeah,
it's shader based.
Shader based. How's that going to affect your product, Mr. Kevin?
So Precipitate FX, there is a way to turn it off in the sim. Like if you don't like it, you can to the old method. So I think we'll continue to support it that way. But of course, the textures that we had, the changes that we have in Precipitate FX don't work with V4 with that setting enabled. Though the other effects that come with Precipitate FX are still supported, and we'll update VFX Central to install in the P3D directory. So it's as simple as that. But there are a few issues with the snow and the rain as it is right now. If you look at it from a certain angle, the angle at which the snow falls is wrong. Similar to what we've experienced with X-Enviro, with the precipitations there also. So it's not perfect, but I think they'll keep working on it, and maybe there will be some third-party solutions because it's shader-based, and some of it is editable to some extent. So I think, yeah, maybe we'll see some add-ons for that.
Cool.
Exciting times.
Add-ons kept in a directory outside of P3D's root folder, making reinstalls much easier. So I feel like that has kind of ups and downs, really, right? Like, I think that whole making reinstalls much easier thought sounds good. But if that means C drive, and from what I've seen, it means C drive, that's like a big no-no for me. And I think for many simmers, the C drive is like a big no-no because we typically will build a machine that's dedicated for simming or gaming, where C drive is a very fast, very small Windows drive. And then
I think, Edson, we need to explain a bit what the concept is, because I think a lot of people are not familiar with what this concept of installing the add-ons outside of the sim is. Some of them are, but I think we should go back to the roots and explain how V4 does it.
Yeah.
So if you want to do it, I can do it also.
No, yeah, go for it. Go for it.
So in V4, you have, and in V3 also, but it's a bit under the radar. Not a lot of people know. There is a folder in the documents, in your documents folder, called Prepared V3 or V4 add-ons. And this folder will contain in the future, and that's the hope of Lockheed, is to get as many developers as possible to use this concept, is to mimic the P3D folder inside of the add-on folder. Each add-on would have its own little sandbox with its internal like file structure, which is similar to P3D. So let's say Rex want to install some textures into the sim. Instead of replacing it in the sim directly, they would have a texture folder in that add-on folder, in the Rex folder, in that add-on folder. So, and they would contain all the textures. Now, if PMDG wants to add an aircraft, they would have like a sim object, an effect, and a gauge file in that PMDG folder, which is located in the add-on folder. So all the add-ons would be consolidated in that folder. without anything installed in the sim. So if you have to reinstall P3D, you just reinstall the platform, and your add-ons are untouched and will be reloaded when you reload the sim, right? And that's, I think, the right way of doing it. The caveat there is that the folder is located in the documents folder of your computer, which is not easily movable, right? Because all of your other stuff is there.
Right.
Some developers say that this folder is movable. I have not made enough research to confirm that, but it doesn't look easy to move.
Yeah.
So there's not like, it doesn't seem to be like a CFG file where you can just reroute this folder.
Yeah.
There isn't a way of doing it.
There's probably a way of doing it, but
Do a dynamic link
Do
to
symbolic
that folder.
links. Yeah.
Yeah, symlink, but that's
Sim
not
links.
you cannot
I
right click.
do that with my ortho, because my ortho's on a totally different drive, but I've got the links actually in X-Plane, and it reads from that drive.
Yeah, but that's like a patched way of doing things. It's not native. It's not supposed to be like made that way. Symlink, you cannot right click in Windows and create a symlink. So it's not general purpose for all users. It's not user friendly to do it that way.
Yeah, I feel like that documents drive is sacred ground. Like that's that's your that's kind of like that's your personal documents area. Mm-hmm. And if I'm moving from machine A to machine B and I have to save my documents or move my documents, I truly don't want my P3D add-ons to move with it. Like I expect that to be my resume, my some photographs, whatever documents, but I don't expect my add-ons to kind of carry over as well. I do feel like that folder is sacred ground, man.
Yeah, add-ons are so massive, it's so large that it's often dedicated it's moved on a dedicated drive.
Yeah.
For that purpose, because it's larger than, we're talking like 500 gigabytes. You don't want that in your documents folder.
Right.
Larger than maybe 2 to 3 gigabytes if you have pictures or picture collection. Yes, but add-ons, I don't think they belong there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're all like biased by what we're used to.
Right.
But yeah, so far I've seen the A2A installer in Matt Davies' stream, and there is a page there that says that the add-on will be installed in the documents folder, and if they want it elsewhere, they'll have to move it after that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is scary because you no longer
clean.
have the choice.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, this is definitely one that's going to require some constant tracking, because that can bring a lot of frustration in. I mean, I know that one of our patrons here also just recently completed a build and had to completely change the way he was going to utilize his hard drives based on some fears of the potential of his documents folder expanding now. And he ended up taking, instead of using the smallest, fastest drive for Windows, he ended up kind of moving over his 2 terabyte SSD and using that for Windows. I don't know. I don't know how many people it's going to really affect, but I don't want it that way. So we need options. I mean, we definitely need options. Yeah. We'll see how it goes, right? We'll see how it goes. I think developers are going to be the ones to kind of drive that too, right? They're either going to say, dear Lockheed, we're going to be using that external folder structure, or dear Lockheed, no, we're not.
Well,
we're going to dump it straight in.
Some developers might just follow what Lockheed says because they think it's the best way of doing it, but then the customers will come back and say, like, no, that doesn't work. Yeah. The A2A way of things with the installers that we've seen, I think that's going to get a lot of backlash rather quickly if they don't change it. Maybe that's an early build, I don't know, but maybe they're going to change it. But yeah, as it is now, it's going to have like some sort of backlash, and it's not started yet. It's like under the radar right now, but it's not going to be for much longer. Right.
All new dark interface. It's gorgeous. I mean, there are definitely some little minor tweaks here and there that from a design aspect I feel could be better. If I had to compare only interfaces, and interface choice of colors between Flight Sim World and what I see as the color palettes utilized in V4. I gotta say, Flight Sim World had a really, really good designer. As far as color palettes go, choices of outlines and binding boxes and stuff like that, they win. But I do like that new
that
black
doesn't
interface.
bother me at all.
I know,
I don't
that's the
care
thing.
what
It's not
colour
gonna,
the box is.
it's not gonna bother everyone. But you know, designer guy.
We're used to it to be crappy. We're used for it, you know. We're used to see this kind of crappy UI, so it doesn't bother us anymore. But if you were like coming from the gaming industry, from the outside, and try to sim for the first time, or get into this, you get into this UI, and you're like, holy shit, that's so 1998.
Yeah.
You see, they brought it up to date, but it's not fast by
The
any
thing
means.
is, it works. I mean, I you know, you use it every day. I use it every
Yeah,
day.
it works.
And I know where every button is. I know where everything in the menu is. I keep it the same. I'm happy.
Yeah, it does the job, but you know, might as well do it right when you do it. You know.
I mean, yeah, they could have gone down the Dovetail Flight Sim World road and simplified it and the X-Plane world and done it the X-Plane way, but you know, they're concentrating on the sim itself and not what it looks like, you know. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I'll second
Global
that.
speed trees. That's a hot one. So now it's no longer going to be only at that one airport you spawn at and a few others, but it'll be like globally, all the trees in Sim that are default trees will be speed trees. And I don't necessarily think that every single tree, I mean probably a lot of trees, but it seems to be that Orbex HD trees do not fall into the category of functioning as like speed trees. So we'll see how that happens.
Interesting to see a side-by-side comparison between the Orbix trees and the default now.
Let me try that.
Yeah.
Performance reported that users with no change to hardware can now move their sliders further to the right. I would say that's performance increase. I mean, if you can now with the same hardware move your sliders further right, yeah. No FSU IPC yet, which in turn may mean no ACAR systems, at least from what I heard in the ADX live broadcast from Josh at TFDI Designs. The ACAR system will not be functioning without FSU IPC. We'll see, and you know, if there's anything more on that. But let's move into our updates from developers.
We'll just go back just a second on the performance issues.
Go ahead.
Well, not an issue, but the performance. Now, I can run 3.4 on all the sliders to the right, and I get a reasonable frame rate, you know, up in the high 30s, 40s, quite happily with all my sliders to the right. But the problem I have is the VAS issue, because you have everything to the right, it's going to fill up that memory a lot quicker. Now, we're not going to have that cap, so do those sliders go further than the current sliders?
You wanted to go to 11?
Do they go to 11? Exactly.
Yeah, no.
the same.
Short answer is no. Maybe the draw distance, yes. Level of detail, maybe. But I don't think so. I really don't think so. But you get more frames per second per, you know, slider notch, as you might say.
I know. So I was watching, as Edson said, you know, we've all watched the videos and the YouTubes and stuff, and I was, you know, we was watching our good friend Jordan King's video, and he did say, he said, you know, you can use 496 textures now. Why not? And just tick the box, because you can. We couldn't before.
Yeah, well, the thing that P3D V3 has, the fact that V3 has to continuously flush and reload textures and things in the memory, right? So that takes a lot of processing as well, and that may cause some performance issues. This being said, now V4 doesn't have to be as aggressive with flushing all those things in the memory. So if it's all loaded in the memory, it's much quicker to run everything, and you get less stutters. It's more stable. It's just better.
So my initial thought was, so we had this discussion in the Discord in the lounge, and I said, you know, one of the guys was like, yeah, I'm gonna take all my stuff and take it like, you know, full 4096 or whatever, and I said, you know, I think I'm gonna stay, you know, 1024. And he's like, well, why would you? I was like, why do I need to bump it up? My shit looks amazing at 1024. Like, I mean, that's what I use, and most people are like, holy fuck, this scenery. And I mean, if I'm getting that at a 1024, like, why go even higher? And then it was Aviator Moser. Aviator Moser jumps in. He's like, hey, you look at any like A-title game out there, any of these top shelf games, and they're all running, you know, 4096 textures. They're all running like fucking super highest end texture sets you can imagine. They're massive. They're enormous, and you don't notice the difference then. And he, you know, he mentioned the actual usage of that RAM to load in these textures into. He's like, you're not gonna notice it. You've got a nice fat video card. It doesn't matter if you stay 1024 or go 4096. Like, it's just, you know,
if your rig can handle it. If your rig can handle it, obviously. If you've got a crappy graphics card, obviously you're going to struggle.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to have a good graphics card.
Yeah, the thing I want to be able to do is, like, I flew yesterday P3D for the first time in a couple of weeks, and I had my little Comanche, and I was flying in Australia with all the settings full, so my VFR settings effectively. What I want to be able to do is to fly my PMDG aircraft with VFR settings, and if that works, I'm going to be a very happy man.
Amen.
You know,
Amen.
Your SimStarter is going to be obsolete. You're not going to need it.
Yeah.
You're not going to have an IFR profile and a VFR profile. You'll just have a profile.
You might still have one, because if you might still have one because performance frame rate is still going to be an issue.
Yeah, but if your rig can handle those frame rates on across the board, SimStar's out the window.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm going to show it here. I'm not so sure you guys can see it locally, but I mean, I've got my fair share of profiles from VFR day to VFR night to VFR San Francisco day to VFR San Francisco night to IFR day, IFR night, and then IFR San Francisco day, IFR San Francisco night. Like, it's ridiculous the levels that I went to try and manage to have a good time. You know, flying a plane out of San Francisco in the daytime without my custom lighting, or at night with my custom lighting, but, you know, more of the sliders to the left at night because you can't see that the mountains are all rounded. You know, I mean, all these little things that we had to adjust for, I think, for the most part, we'll be able to find a nice in-the-middle profile, and just, that's our setup. I'm excited about that. I'm so excited about that. Playing right into that are the amazing airports that we all fly into now, but always have this, I guess trepidation would be the right word. We always have this hesitation to fly into a custom airport because we don't necessarily know if we're going to make it. We don't necessarily know if it's going to load every single building or load the runway textures at all because of VAS. Like, that's now out the window. And some of the developers have started releasing some preview videos. We'll start here with the FS Dream Team, KCLT video, and P3D V4 preview. This is, if I'm not mistaken, a night video. And it looks amazing. This is FS Dream Team. Apron with dynamic lighting, GSX vehicles also with the dynamic lighting, so they're now illuminating the body of the plane. I mean, this is so X-Plane right now.
Yeah. Well, X-Plane's had dynamic lighting for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are essentially playing a game of catch-up.
I mean, you know, you're talking about add-on airports. I can't wait until, you know, I can reinstall Heathrow and be able to hit that extreme box. You know, level of detail. Extreme, please. Thank you.
One of the, I mean, I think it's still buggy. I mean, when I was watching Kevin's stream the other night, there's a couple of things I noted. One is when he put the landing lights on, it blinded him in the cockpit, and the second thing was the lights went right through the buildings, and it actually lit up the fields behind the buildings, so there were no shadows. So that you know,
but
they've got a long way to go.
That's teething problems, though,
Absolutely, yeah. But once they sort that out, it's just going to be fantastic. Those little vehicles lighting up the little areas is absolutely brilliant.
I love it. I do. As it rolls up and it lights the wheel and it lights the back of the engine. I mean, that's just awesome.
Aircraft is ready for treatment.
So
I want to see put shadows in there. Once they have shadows in there, it's going to be perfect.
Concentration at 75%.
Definitely.
I will call you back when ready.
So they've got the de-icing trucks now with also its own lights on the bucket, and they're following the spray as the spray goes in and out of the light field. Like, so amazing. Such a great little touch. You know, once again, just adding more realism into our experiences. I mean, that looks very legit. So super exciting.
Closer
this
and
is
closer to not being able to tell the difference between real and sim. We're getting ever closer, aren't we?
yeah, most definitely. That's Charles Douglas, coming soon by FS Dream Team.
Now, where is that in the States then? Where is that? Is that east, west, central?
That is, why is it slipping my mind? North Carolina, I think.
Stares blankly at the sky.
I know, yeah.
I don't know where that is
I
either.
believe it's North Carolina. It's east. It would be East Coast.
Nice. Nice to see the East Coast getting some love.
I don't know if it's considered Mid-Atlantic, the Mid-Atlantic area, but yeah, I can confirm it's Charlotte, North Carolina. But it would be a great destination from North Carolina to DC, or North Carolina to Atlanta, or North Carolina down to Florida coast. Great area. North Carolina to Memphis as well. So it's right in that cluster. Moving on, we've got a note from A2A. Free P3D V4 upgrade for all existing A2A V3 customers. This one posted by Mr. Lewis Bloom.
Now that's interesting. So if someone buys the A2A 172 for P3D V2, does that mean they're not going to get the upgrade to V4?
Yeah, because some of my A2A planes are FSX.
Yeah, FSX doesn't work.
P3D.
P3D is P3D, so
I think they're being very specific here in their verbiage, and it looks like it's if you own the P3D V3 version, you get to go to 4 with that. And I think that's pretty specific. It looks like the 172 is going to be available at time of release of V4, so next week. And then they'll be following with the Cherokee 182, the Piper Comanche 250. Thank goodness the Comanche, and
Absolutely.
the T6 Texan, followed by the Constellation as well. Looks like they're going to do other aircraft also, and you should see some performance bumps also. So
I have a better place.
I think I've got 3 of those, which are actually proper P3D.
Proper P3D. Yeah.
I think all mine are proper P3D, but I think I may have bought some of them for version 2 of P3D. I may be wrong. They may not have had them available then, but that's just a concern.
But yeah, I have a bet to place.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, the aircraft they probably, let's assume, they release one at Flight SimCon. It's going to be V4 compatible out of the box.
Probably.
Pretty damn sure about that.
Probably. V-tail. All right.
Oh, I hope so.
Moving on. Thank you, A2A. Amazing
Keep,
move.
keep
Much
dreaming,
love.
Edson. Keep dreaming, Edson, because we all know it's going to be a Lancaster bomber.
Yeah, you keep dreaming. Next one, P3D V4 first look compatibility and features from Jordan King. So we're gonna skip through this video in sections here, but this was Mr. Jordan Kings who joined us for our go around on Flight Sim World. His first impressions on the platform, and it's a really good video. If you have not seen it yet, head over to YouTube and visit Jordan's site, Jordan's page, and have a peek, or look in the show notes below and you'll see the link there to watch the video.
It's a very good video, actually. I did enjoy this one.
Yeah, production quality is through and through all the way, you know, top notch with Jordan. So he's going through, you know, full interface, you know, kind of walking you through what changes are there, taking you through all the sliders, all the options. I mean, basically anything you want to really know about using V4, like he's covering it. And then he's going and breaking it down into sections for dynamic lighting. I thought this was a really nice example as well with the dynamic lighting, which was the avatar. Loved this one right here. Yeah, that's just awesome.
Spectacular.
Yeah. I mean, it's wrapping around every wrinkle.
It's good to see the avatar. Still looks like he pooped himself.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a really well done video.
What I'd like to have seen in V4, in the avatar, is being able to assign an avatar per plane. So your military ones, you can have your military avatar, your civilian avatar, your captain avatar per plane, rather than just having one standard that you've got to pick.
Yeah. Can we talk a bit about the rain and lack of rain on the windshield?
Yeah.
The rain on the windshield will happen, I reckon, but it's gonna be down to the developer of
You
the
know what though?
aircraft.
You know what? It's kind of bullshit. Because everything about
It's
the
global
sim,
in FSW, isn't it?
yeah, and everything about the sim is gorgeous. Everything I've seen so far is gorgeous. But there's one thing in this entire shot right here that is just shit. And it's the fact that now we know there's something out there that has been demonstrated time and time again to have rain on the shield, and we don't see it here. Now it looks like poop because someone has come out and actually done it. Now this looks inferior. I hope that changes. I really do. I don't want to get super technical on why it can and why it can't. I don't give a shit. Do something. Do something, because someone else has.
There are some planes out there that do
But
have
that's
rain.
not the same, bro. That's not the same. To have the developer code it when instead you can say, hey, guess what? You put glass in your plane? All right, cool. All glass gets this effect. Cool? Cool. Done. I mean, that's the way the FSW rolled with it. They're like, oh, that's a glass texture? We're going to apply rain.
Dovetail did it on Flight Sim World, and it was one of the first feature introduced on the platform. Of the entire thing, that's the first thing they decided to focus on. It's early access, and it has it, you know? I think it's something that has to be worked on the developer side, by which I mean the first party, by which I mean Lockheed Martin. I think they should be the ones to develop a way of doing the windscreen effect and give it as an API to the aircraft developers, just like what Dovetail does. And that would be the only logical thing to do, because you don't reinvent the wheel. Aircraft developers have other shit to do than designing rain effect on windshield, right? If it's made by the platform, it's just better for everyone, and it's unified, you know? And I think that's the way it should be done. It was done via shaders on Dovetail Flight School, Flight Sim World. So it should be shader based, just like the rain and the snow that falls out of the sky on the Lockheed platform.
Yeah, I think that consistency too, right, bro? It's like, you know, with every plane you step into, it's a consistent feel of that.
Yeah.
So like, imagine if, you know, Real Air did it, and you remember like Real Air did it, and it was nice, but man, when it rained, your system was hurting. It was screaming for help.
Yeah.
But
and it
Real Air
looked
did
like FS 2004. It did look like FS 2004 also.
It did. And so imagine, you know, they make their own, Coronado makes their own, Alabeo makes their own, A2A makes their own. Like, that was not going to work, because you're going to have better rain in this one than that one, and this rain is fat, and this rain is skinny, and this rain is fast, and this rain is slow. Nah, man. FSW
it's a waste
did it
of time.
right. Yeah, Dovetail nailed it. They said, this is the rain, this is the rain. Done. So please give us the rain, Lockheed. Give us the rain.
Yeah,
I feel
it jumps out now.
It's going to come. I think it's going to come maybe in V5 in a year from now. You know, it's the next thing on the list that's been asked endlessly by everyone. So it's going to come at some point.
Yeah, but that's just the thing. You know, this is V4. This isn't V4.2 or V.3. We don't know what's coming next.
Well, that's a big feature, a big enough feature to justify it to be an initial release feature, like in V5 and stuff. I don't think it's going to come as an update in this one.
Moving on, next topic. This one by Orbex. Prepar3d V4 64-bit Orbex preview 4K screenshots. These are amazing. I'm going to the photos. I'm going straight to the photos because, yes. These are absolutely stunning. You have to look at the details, right? You have to look how far the trees go. Like, this is so amazing that all the way back here behind this cloud are still trees that are rendered.
Do you have my 6K picture?
Not here. Not here. But I mean, this is the same effect, right? It's like, as far as you look, there are trees. There's no line. There's no
tree ring.
Clearly visible tree ring. There are trees. And beyond trees, there are others. Look at the mountain way back there on the far left. There are trees up there. There's a texture up there, you know? This is so amazing. It's so game-changing.
Is this the same with the clouds then? I mean, like watching Sparky stream the other day, was flying on a blanket of cloud where it looked like it was clear in the horizon, but you never ever got there. Is that the same with the clouds then in this?
So you can
push the limit.
No, but you can, in V3 though, you can push the limit. The problem is you push the limit, it pushes the limit of your computer. So that's the catch there, is that on the IFR side, if you're 40,000 feet and you push that cloud ring so far out to where you can't see it, now you're just crushing your system. So
that's where your machine's going to come into it. I mean, we all know that it's going to be machine dependent. I mean, if you've got a beast of a machine, you'll probably be able to get away with it. But if you haven't, you're not gonna have much fun.
That's one of the interesting things I'm thinking about now with this, is you get people who are not happy unless they're getting 120 frames, which in my mind is unnecessary. What I would rather have is a nice smooth simulator, and I don't care if it's 15 frames per second. If it's smooth and immersive, I'm happy.
I hear that so often. I really do.
Yeah.
And I've tried setting mine down to like 30 locked. I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I always describe things as like silky and liquidy, and like at 30 it's not like that. At 30 it's like smooth, but at 30 it's not like how do you describe it? Like dripping oil. Like it's just not silk. Yeah. Like I want it to be just views up, down, and it's just silky. You're not touching that until you're above 40, 50, frames per second. But But you're right. Consistency is key, and it doesn't make any sense to burst into those numbers, but to drop down below 30s. Like, that doesn't make sense. Then you're really just suffering, and you might as well ride at 30.
I've always said, you know, whether it be FSX or P3D or X-Plane, is don't chase frames. Get the best experience out of the sim. Get it, you know, you get it flyable. Don't go chasing frames. You know, I could have 120 frames. It'd look like poop.
Poop.
But tell you what, I've been cruising.
It's all about a balance.
I've been cruising in V4, and I've, with some complex aircraft, with the Learjet, which is a very intensive geometrically, and I've saw the FPS counter, and I did hit like 100 above 100 frames per second. I never saw that in P3D and FSX easily, but the settings were high, like close to the maximum, and I still reached by peak 100 frames per second, which is, I've never seen that before, and that's incredible. Yeah,
so Orbex is definitely delivering. I mean, this is amazing, right? Like full 4K textures. They've been ready for some time, probably ready to pull the trigger. And Orbex will be updating FTX Central and pretty much have things, you know, quickly starting to come out of the factory as V4 ready.
Can't wait. I can't wait.
Kevin, just a quick question on that one.
Over my Orbex scenery.
Yeah.
Just a quick question on that, Kevin. When you actually install V4 and you say you put I don't know, Open Class Europe in, does it take it from your other drive, or does it download it again from the server?
It downloads it from the server from what I've seen, but that might be changing. I don't know. It downloaded every time I uninstall or reinstall something from FTX Central. It downloads it from the server. I never used like a backup copy.
Yeah, it grabs it fresh. I mean, that's the point of the whole single click install, you know, concept, I guess, is poof, it grabs it from the server, drops it in.
Their servers are going to get hammered if that's the case.
Yep.
I was going to use that for my closing points, actually, but I do hope that, you know, Lockheed Martin, Orbex, whoever's ready on the day, go out and get some Google servers, hire some Google servers for the day, because you're gonna get caned.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they planned it ahead. I don't think the servers are going to be rushed, but the downloads will probably be slow, but I think they'll be able to keep up.
Moving on, next topic, we got PMDG and V4. A statement from PMDG regarding V4. I believe this one submitted by Mr. Kimo. I believe that I read the 747 will be ready pretty much right out of the gate. And then they will be doing so as of today, we have the DC-6 and 747 operating with V4. We hope to have the 777 completed later this week, which means by release date. And the NGX to follow shortly thereafter. Thank goodness the NGX as well.
Yeah, they do have actually a release list. It's going to be the 747, 777, 737.
As far as pricing, it looks like it's going to be a free upgrade.
P3D to P3D, yeah.
P3D to V3 to V4 will be a no cost upgrade. So
that's a good question to ask, though, to know if they plan on charging for like V5 for V3 users, or it's just like a P3D license is good for all future versions. Yeah.
I doubt that. Like, what developer
In
would do
the
that?
in the text,
Yeah.
they say
Yeah.
until, and they make it very clear in the text till at least V4.
Oh,
So you know they've not ruled out any beyond that, but they've said at least till V4 where their product supported. Because obviously they don't know what V5 is yet.
Yeah, it depends probably on the changes in the structure and stuff.
Yeah.
there you go. There's your PMDG news for the folks that
Awesome.
love the commercial flights. You've got good news. Next topic. This one submitted by Chemo. Also, Flight Beam KMSP teaser. Look at this.
Beautiful, as always.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. Look at that. This
That's
is
4K
all
textures.
in V4. Yeah, this is 4K textures in V4. I mean, look at that. That's just amazing. It's just amazing, boys. This is the future. This is the future like a week from now.
You know, you would have shown me those pictures when, yeah, in
Look at
2006.
that.
I would never have believed you that someday we would have that.
I know, it's unbelievable.
Totally amazing.
Ah, it's so amazing. Casey just keeps wanting to jump in. Hi, Casey. He keeps wanting to jump into the videos.
You know, he's under investigation by the FAA now for the flying drones.
Is he? I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. And in his latest season, he said that he would be much better about where he flies his drones. He didn't give a shit. It lasted like 2 episodes, and now he's still flying them every
Yeah.
Watch out. The FAA is always watching. Look at the cars on top of the damn parking structure. Did you catch that? Look at all that up there. That's insanity.
Yes.
Look at that. Every cable is hanging. Everything is there. This is so real.
The other thing is that, you know, now we're going to have this, you know, we're going to have this amount of detail in. The developers are really going to have to step up their game. Sorry, Pedro. They're really going to have to step up their game now because people are going to expect this quality.
Yeah, they have a lot to live up to right now.
But here's the thing. The time they spend right now on trying to optimize the textures and find new ways in R&D to reduce the VAS usage, all of that time they'll be able to invest in actually making the scenery better.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they continue to optimize for performance, though.
Yeah, but frame rate I think is easier to manage than VAS.
Yeah,
I think they have to an extent, right? Because in theory, a VAS limit is still a VAS limit. Your card, your video card only can load so much, and you still have to leave something for the other developers and the other add-ons. So like, you can't just go ape shit and just 6K textures everywhere for everything. Like, you can't, because that would crush someone with a 970 and not a 1080 or not a Titan. You know, I mean, there's still that limit. It still exists. It's just way beyond what we normally touch. I mean, you look at a game like Grand Theft Auto 5. I mean, we've measured it. I think Kevin, remember, it was something ridiculous in the VAS camp. But you know, those games, they chomp it up, man. They chomp up the VAS.
The other thing is, I hope they still continue to flush out the scenery at the back, because what you don't want to be doing is flying into Toronto and you're still drawing Heathrow. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I hope they still continue to code. I'm sure they do, but that's just a layperson's hope, really.
Well, I think in one of the other announcements that we're going to get to, it was mentioned that an airport would load about a 10-mile ring, and it would load that scenery 100% at once and not reload elements as you get closer. So the way we function now is like, we get closer to we're on short final to the runway, it loads some of the cars down, you know, halfway down the runway. We get even closer, it starts loading the next terminals down. In this case, it's going to be like, oh, fool, you're within 10 miles of this airport. Here we go.
Are we gonna?
And it will all be there.
I hope we've got rid of the stutter load. You know, on approach, you get that pause as it loads the airport in, and then
that's
okay,
performance of your machine, bro. That's disk.
No,
that's
it's
disk.
not.
Yeah,
No,
bro.
That's load. That's load. That's loading those fucking textures in.
No, I think that's asking for a lot, man. I think that's.
I noticed with
asking for a lot.
FSW, with FSW, and I pointed this out in one of my streams. The autogen and such was fading in. It wasn't popping.
It fades. Yeah. That's how they
fades in.
That's how they.
Yeah.
That's how they sort of disguised the whole ring element and stuff. Was that the things kind of fade in.
Which is good.
You know how,
It's a nice
how
touch.
they did it.
It's
You know
a
how
nice
they did
touch.
it on V4. It's
How?
quite funny. They pop up from the ground.
They come up.
Oh,
Yeah. So they don't
That's
appear,
sick,
they don't
dude.
fade in. They pop up from the ground. I've seen it in
Like
action. It's
Stingray.
beautiful.
That's pretty sick. That's awesome. Oh man. Moving on. This one from Fly Tampa, Boston KBOS development preview. So we've got airports just waiting for release, man. I mean, this is more just
Amazing.
eye candy, dude. Using that lighting. They have shadows here, Kevin.
Yeah, they
Do you
faked
think
it.
they're baked?
Yeah.
That's baked.
Still very good though.
So
The airplane is a static
pretty.
airplane too.
Yeah.
Would a static airplane light up with the dynamic lighting, Kevin?
Yeah, but it's more efficient to bake the textures than to use those because there's a limit on how many dynamic lights you can use in a scene.
Yeah.
The limit I think is 499 if I remember well from the.
This looks
development.
so real.
that's still a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot, but you know when you can minimize it, you just minimize it because that's gonna hit the frame rates too.
This is real life.
Yeah.
Like this photo is. You could Photoshop a real life. You could Photoshop a real life man just kind of like walking along the wall over there, and your mind would just not even be able to tell. It's so
amazing.
incredible. I mean, look at the sewage, outlet here and stuff, and the drain and bros. It's man, Fly Tampa, do it.
Do it.
Do it, dude. They make
It's good to see
such
Boston.
great scenery.
It's good to see Boston having an update. It's been a while.
It's good to see Boston looking like this because I know a gentleman named, I believe it's Mr. X, that brings a drool-worthy Boston to the X-Plane camp. And
Yeah.
so now we'll have one too. And that makes me happy. That makes me very happy because we have needed a nice, money Boston like this. Again, in East Coast, a nice and easy run down to DC. So you got Dravetsky Design in DC. You've got a Fly Tampa Boston. These are awesome runs, man. The East Coast is finally starting to develop. And I love that. Nice work, Fly Tampa. Next one is 29 Palm Scenery Design, another dynamic lighting video. These are popular. People are loving the dynamic lighting, so I think developers are quick to embrace and test with that.
It's all volumetric lighting, and what I love about this video is that you have the beacon that's actually lighting up this stuff.
Yeah, dude.
You know, done are the days of the actual light cone.
The
that
cone?
light.
The green white cone.
Yeah. Now it's actually lighting up. That's beautiful.
That's brings a tear to my eye, man.
If anything, I find
We
it's
finally made
light
it.
right.
We finally made it. That's
Brings
Grand
a
Theft
tear to
Auto,
my
bro.
wallet about all the stuff we have to buy.
It did look like Grand Theft Auto.
That was Grand Theft Auto, bro. That was like inside your garage, bro.
Well, that's GTA 3, 4.
Amazing. Amazing. 29 palms. Thank you guys, man. Keep it going, Lars. You've always been good to us, man. Keep up the great work, dude. Active Sky, posted by Mr. Kimo. Active Sky 16 for V4. So
That's one of the biggest chunk, I think.
yeah, confirmed. It is coming, and it will be free if you own Active Sky 16. Not if you own Active Sky Next. Ladies and gentlemen, some of you held out from Active Sky Next and did not pick up 16 because you were like, man, I don't need the little cloud effect. Go and get 16 now. It's on sale, 50% off, I think, for the rest of the week at most of the sites, including at their own site probably. So go and buy it now so that you can get a free upgrade for V4.
If you're not on Active Sky 16, you don't like real weather.
Very true.
So well said. Reduced and on sale right now at a deep discount. Look, even they're like blasting it. It's like, guys, look, go out and get it already. Okay, just do it.
The free upgrade is bold and italic, so
Yeah, free upgrade.
you have to.
Development cycle is complete, but they've not performed beta testing yet. So
There'll be beta testing now. This will drop the same time as of release, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so. Or very shortly.
very
maybe.
shortly thereafter, yeah. Next topic, a peek at the V4 install and structure. So over at AVSim, this was documented all the way through the entire pretty much install process. This is a really fun post with a lot of detail. So your best bet to dive into this and really absorb it, if you can't wait until release date, is to head down to the show notes below and start scrolling.
I'm really glad they've got the options on the main menu now as well. I mean, that was, I hated having to have to load in a plane and an airport, even if it was the default one, just to change a setting.
I'm sorry, like what? What do you mean?
The settings, the options, the setting options are now on the main menu. You don't have to go in.
Options, right? Yeah.
I'm still searching for the scenery library, though.
What do you mean the scenery library? It's not in
You
the
can't-
menu at
you-
the top.
You can't access it without loading the sceneries.
Oh, I use SimStarter, so
Use scenery configurator.
yeah, there are many third-party ones. I wonder if that kind of stuff's gonna work still. Should.
Yeah, same stuff.
So definitely head over to this post if you want more detail. I mean, it's in full detail. Moving on, Rex response to Explain 11, Flight Sim World, and P3D V4. Rex, Texture Direct, Soft Clouds, absolute musts in my book. Do you guys agree?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, so this is very, very exciting news. I'm happy to see that they're kind of working at getting things over. There has not been an actual timeline. This is more just their thoughts on the platforms. We're committed to providing support of these platforms as much as possible. That can be taken as, a little bit something to worry about maybe.
Next year?
Yeah, right, exactly.
5 years?
We've been in contact with each developer group, and it's kind of bland. It doesn't give a V3, V4 people, don't worry, we gotcha. Like, it doesn't. We'll have to wait and see. We're not gonna make a story out of it. We're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, it does actually say there. They've got a couple of products waiting to go out of the box. Does it? You say they're finishing up several new products.
Yeah, because they were working on a bunch of new stuff like Sim Air for the past many years.
Yes.
Hopefully coming for V4. Hopefully.
Your investment is our investment, and we will continue to strive to meet the needs of the developer.
Moving on, next story. Just Flight on Prepar3d V4. Just Flight says, if you've seen the recent announcements about V4, you may be wondering if Just Flight will be updating their content to run in this. Can you imagine for a second if they didn't? I mean, come on, bro. Their library is
a massive collection.
Extensive, bro. Like that. No, it's not even an option. Just Flight. People would riot. People would riot. For several months, we've been working with Lockheed Martin, blah, 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 blah. We're aiming to release compatibility updates for some of our recent and most popular releases shortly. These will be available free of charge in the form of updated product installers. So another developer jumping in to just, look, man, you got V3 stuff, take the V4 stuff too.
Is there any developer at this point that charges for the update?
Doesn't seem to be.
That's exactly what I was thinking, yeah.
Do they know something we don't? Is V4 going to be like $1,000 or something? So, you know, give me it free.
Dude, you touch on such a great point. Fucking now introducing V4 $9.99. Fuck! Those microtransactions sound good in Dovetail now, don't they?
We turned from 32 to 64, so technically it's double the price, right?
Yes, exactly. No, this is great. Nice work, Just Flight. This is really, really good. I have many of your planes and I love them all, so I would hate to lose any of them. Toga projects on P3D V4 support. Dear Flight Simmers, very important moment we're going through in the flight simulation community. After many years of waiting, we'll finally be able to fly P3D in 64 bits. 64 bits. We'd like to confirm that... I get to say the word again. NVTEX. We'd like to confirm that...
NVTEX.
NVTEX. Yes, it's NVTEX. We'd like to confirm that NVTEX will support P3D V4 as soon as possible. So another developer coming in with not necessarily a firm timeline, which we totally understand, but as soon as possible, and I'm assuming they mean free. While they don't necessarily say free, they do kind of not mention a price or a small fee.
Imagine the flag that a developer would get now if they decided to charge after all the big names have decided not to.
If PMDG doesn't charge, no one else will.
Yeah, right.
Unless you're Coronado.
Right?
Oh, Coronado. Yeah, they might be the only one.
Toga, nice work. Thank you, guys. I use your products as well. Any of you guys use the Toga stuff?
Yeah, I got the NVTEX.
You have it, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I have it for the rain textures and the effects.
I don't use it for everything. Yeah, I don't.
You
I don't
stop
use it for
trolling
everything.
you.
Yeah, I'm very selective on what I have it change.
Yes, me too. But out of the box, for like a general simmer that doesn't have the multi-layer kind of approach,
if you don't have
nice.
Rex and you don't have, you know, your HD Moon and stuff, then yeah, it's out of the box. It's great.
Definitely. Moving on, iBlue Yonder P3D compatibility. It's coming is their general statement. So these guys made the beautiful Nantucket scenery that Mr. B and I have. I don't think you have it yet, right, Mark? Nantucket?
No, I don't have
I think
that.
they did. They've got that. They do that Heron's Nest.
Heron's
Nest
as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful sceneries. And Heron's Nest is freeware too, so go out and get that, guys. It's beautiful freeware by the by iBlue Yonder.
It's the water runway, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Oh wait, no. Heron's
sea base.
It has a sea base with a hangar, and it also has a dirt strip.
Okay.
When these new compatibility mods appear exactly will depend on the work required and when the maker of Sode can create a version that works with the new sims. Our request for development insight and assistance from Lockheed Martin went unanswered, so we're no more in the know than anyone else about how porting to P3D will work out. Fortunately, Dovetail were more forthcoming and we're now working on versions of everything for Flight Sim World.
Oh, that's nice. That's good.
That's very interesting.
Does that mean that they're gonna sell for 65% commission?
Very interesting. Well, it just means they worked something out.
Makes you wonder
We'll
if their
see.
email to Lockheed Martin went into a spam folder.
Yeah, likely.
No, but that's good. I'm glad we've got a good developer that is actually that is working with Flight Sim World, because that's going to kind of set a benchmark on how things are going to work, I think, and we'll know a bit more about the developers coming into Flight Sim World.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what the differences will be converting for each of the two platforms.
Yeah, there is going to be differences, but the technology I think remains very similar at the end.
Closing statement, we'll do our best to make the gap as short as humanly possible. So I hope that works out. Do they need contact with Lockheed Martin directly, Kevin, as a developer? Like, do you absolutely have to have contact with Lockheed Martin, or can you have the SDK, you have the developer kit stuff, can you just work?
The thing is, if you're not in contact with Lockheed Martin, at this point you don't have V4 in your hand, so you cannot be ready
There's that too.
when the
You
release
can't be
comes.
ready for release.
Yeah, you cannot also give your opinions on many things that might have more influence between developers than with the general public.
Right.
So they might probably be in the spam folder, because from what I see, Lockheed always answers to emails, and if they got us on board, there's no reason why they would not be on board as well.
Well, I Blue Yonder, thank you for the update, and good luck with that, man. Maybe reach out. Yeah, maybe reach out again. Send from a different email address. Change the subject line.
Use a Gmail.
Yeah, use a Gmail. Try some different methods, and hopefully you get through, man. Love to see your scenery come over. Really would. Moving on, Pacific Island Simulation confirms all legacy and new will work in V4. Great announcement from Pacific Island. They recently released the Salt Lake City that I've flown into a few times on stream. So beautiful, beautiful sceneries by these guys. Looks like PAXim is excited for this announcement and will work hard to make all legacy and new products compatible with the new platform. This one's a big one. FS Labs. A lot of people were waiting for this. This plane turned out to be a lot more popular than I thought it would be.
It is.
Yeah. It was expensive. It was a plane that was already out, and in the hands of most that would buy this plane. So I didn't expect it to be as popular as it became. Keeping up with Lockheed Martin's methodology of incremental updates, blah, blah, blah. A word of caution. This is not a word of caution, however. And they've that's the one thing with this dev, is they've always been very weird about performance stuff. Yeah, very careful. A word of caution. This does not mean no more ooms. If add-on developers are not careful, we will soon realize that as soon as users turn everything to maximum, there is still a very real possibility of 8 gigs or 16 gigs of installed RAM not being enough to support 4096 texture sceneries, auto-gen, blah blah blah, etc. Yeah. So he's pretty much recapping what I was saying earlier. Like, that cap, it still exists on your video card.
Yeah, but if it's not able to load on your video card, it's going to end up on the scratch disk on the hard drive somewhere. It has a fallback.
We have virtual memory somewhere.
Yeah. This is what progress is about. Blah blah blah. FS Labs A320. As soon as V4 releases, we'll be able to share our 64 compatible version. So they're ready out of the gate with the 320. The application manager facility. We anticipate releasing the application manager sometime after the initial release. 319, we've been working on a 319 to add on to the 320 family. We expect it'll be offered on both 32 and 64-bit platforms, but a more firm commitment at a later time. And then is the nugget. the golden nugget in this post. FS Labs XXXXX. There's
They're
another
getting into porn.
FS Labs aircraft add-on product in the initial stages of development at the moment. We will not say much about it, however, except that it can take, well, more fuel than the A320 series.
That was a 330. Come on, guys.
It'd be a 330, 380, anything in that range.
Not a 380. That's a 330. I'm sure about that.
Gotta be the
320 tanker.
320 tanker, yeah. Military conversion. So very, very cool. Good update also for the folks over at FS Labs. Very nice news.
If
Very
they
nice
release
news.
at 310, I'll be really deceived.
All right, FS Dream Team P3D upgrade informations.
That's a big
this
one.
is a big post, but there's so much knowledge in here. Single FSDT folder installation. Until today, if you had to install FS Dream Team scenery, it went into a main sim folder without the ability to choose it freely. New installers will install outside the sim by default, but you'll be able to choose freely. Thank goodness. So they're confirming that some things will go into a default location, but that you'll actually be given the option to choose freely. Where
So
you would like to
now,
install.
what does that mean? Is that you'll have aircraft and sceneries in the documents folder. You'll have some other in the program files folder. You'll have some on another hard drive somewhere that you had legacy. You'll have some in the sim directly. And you might, is there any other location? App data?
Is there anywhere else you'd like to install on my drive?
Yeah.
Anywhere? New add-on configuration system for P3D V4. We're not going to get into too much detail here with this. Add-on manager changes. So the add-on manager as well needed to be upgraded. That will be upgraded. New memory management for sceneries. They talk about KMEM specifically, which I think we've all had issues with in the past like 3 weeks.
I like that, the anti-pop-up, because the thing is, if you're at KMEM, you spawn in at a gate, all the things pop up around you. They're not there already, so they load in according, to your VAS usage.
Do you remember when it first came out?
They don't load in.
Yeah, do you remember when it first came out and I was taxiing and the damn thing popped up and it crashed?
The crash barriers were awesome. Those crash
That was hilarious.
Those crash boxes were awful.
Damn.
That was clip of the year.
They got rid of those.
One of those damn luggage carts just popped up in front of me, bro. I was so fucking pissed, man. Oh, dude. So lots of performance changes there as well. A new live update system. Man, they're taking advantage of this shift and like kicking it into overdrive, man. New live update system. Update all your FS Dream Team products in one go. Everything. Small files, large textures, vehicles, liveries, program code, all in one go. I love this. It feels like the A2A updater, where it's just kind of like, all right, bro, I see you want to update your A2A. No problem. Let me find all your A2A.
The only problem I've ever had with FS Dream Team and GSX, because they're all the same company, the same product, is if it crashes or if something goes wrong, you've got to go back to their website, get the standalone installer, reinstall it, run it again, and then you've got to refresh the sim. Hopefully this is going to fix all of that.
GSX major update to version 2.0. Not going to get into details there. The future. Lastly, I want to thank Lockheed Martin for the terrific support they gave us during the beta. That pretty much answers your question. You're going to get this stuff very, very, very soon after release, if not at release. Excellent news from FS Dream Team. I look forward to
Good
flying
news from FS Dream Team.
Good news. Thank you, FS Dream Team. Moving on, TFDI design and prepared version 4. Soon is the official update there. This post over on the forums with the announcement of V4, we can finally tell you the official plan for V4. At this time, the 717 does not work in V4. We've not had the opportunity to compile and test. We plan to bring it to you soon, trademark. But are focused on finalizing the 10.0.8.0 update. 717 owners, you'll have to wait.
Sad face.
Sad face. Next topic, FS2 crew and Prepar3d V4. No timeline. I don't think we need to get into that one too deep either, but the overall statement there is there's no timeline for that.
Depends on external factors also, because FS2 crew is based on other add-ons.
Right. At this point, I haven't even thought about it. I don't know how complex it will be to port the software over to V4.
Yeesh. That does not sound good.
It doesn't sound very convincing, does it? Come on, FS2 crew.
FS2
Give us better
crew,
than that.
you helped me learn and fly the PMDG 737 like a boss. Please start thinking about V4. Just start thinking about it. Okay, just think about it, because
Yeah, because
it's
Edson
actually
won't be able
here.
to fly a 737 because he doesn't know how to turn the engines on.
Yes, that. Okay, help
wonder
me. Help me.
I wonder if it's screwed up his plans for Ultimate Ground Crew, because that's been in development for what, 3 or 4 years now. It's also being developed by Bjork.
And last, but definitely not least, Aerosoft.
Mr. Matthias.
A quick word on P3D V4. So direct. We've been testing this internally for some time. Why did I put that accent on for that? Hold on, let me be kinder. We've been testing this internally for some time and are enthusiastic about this new release. It's stable, it's fast, and compatible to a certain degree. Scenery seems to be rather easy to make work. Aircraft, of course, have to be compiled again. Got 64 bits. This is not a trivial task. At Aerosoft, however, we'd rather not make things just work. Keep in mind, we have over 300 add-ons, blah blah blah. How enthusiastic we are is best shown in an image showing our Bali. This is not at max settings or anything, but if you check the image, you'll see it is looking more than okay, and it does so at 180 frames per second. P3D did the same at 90. So Aerosoft is coming to the party.
They have to. They have to come
Cheers.
to the party.
Absolutely looking beautiful, man. All those wonderful, wonderful volumetric lights.
Well, the companies we haven't heard about, though, the Milvises and you know, I love my helicopters and I love my.
There was chatter from
helicopters.
There was chatter
Have they
from
got
Milvis on ADX live stream. There was chatter from Milvis. And
'Cause
correct
I
me
know
if I'm wrong,
Keven-
Kevin, but there was a mention of a small little price update on that.
He doesn't know 100% yet, but
Yeah.
there might be like an upgrade
A
price.
nominal fee, he said, perhaps.
Yeah, and some aircraft will not be ported, like the 737, because of the
Right.
FMS and stuff like that. So some aircraft might not be ported, but they are planning on working on it and getting it working for most of the airplanes.
Yeah, I mean, also, I'm a big tech pack guy, and I'd like the Superbug. That's probably going to be a wait, I'm guessing, with a tech pack.
Yeah, indeed.
But folks, this is our future.
It looks great. It's looking rosy.
Dude, you have to
amazing.
full size the thing.
It looks amazing. This is our future. This is it, man. This is our future now, gentlemen, ladies. This is it. And it's just breathtaking. As far as the eye can see, it's breathtaking. Less than a week. Less than a week, and this is in our hands. Less than a week. Please do keep in mind that we put together an amazing list. You can find it right on our front page, the Ultimate P3D V4 add-on compatibility list. Send your friends over. If you have updates, post them. do what you gotta do, but do your research right here. Everything you want to know is listed, whether something is already working or to be determined or announced or not working. I mean, it's here. If we missed anything, let us know. If you have the chance to test anything because perhaps you're a tester, let us know if we missed it on this list as well. Let's build the best possible resource for this move, for this migration. I think that a list like this is going to be helpful for weeks and weeks and weeks after release.
Quite proud of it.
Quite proud of it. They're good, man. They're good.
And I'm looking forward to getting it populated with working.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we did the same. We did the same thing for V3. It was wonderful to see everything go green, man. It really was. So we have the same list still on the site for V3. It's pretty awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us here on the Go Around. This was Prepar3d V4. Until next time, Sky 5s.
Sky 5.
63, climb maintain 13 down.
13,000, 63.
63, contact the New York Center 128.3.
28 ready, just listing.